Okay, so you want to own a casino. Say you've got it. Your floor, your dealers, 3,000 slot machines humming 24 hours a day, and a mathematical edge on every single bet placed inside your walls. Last year, 51 casinos on the Las Vegas Strip had exactly what you have. Between them, they took in $21.1 billion. They kept $154 million. Run that on your building. 0.7 of 1 cent on the dollar. 92,000 people clocked in to produce a margin thinner than a grocery store's. And in an office in New York, 28 people who don't employ a single dealer, don't own a single chip, and have never greeted one of your guests, collected over $4 billion out of buildings exactly like yours. So here's what you actually bought. You didn't buy the house, you bought the 4th seat at a table where 3 other people get paid before you do. Payoffs. Everyone tells you the same story about this business. The math guarantees the money, and owners still go bankrupt on debt and bad decisions. True, and it's the shallow half. So let's do this properly. The casino is yours. Over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to walk $1 from a player's hand toward your pocket and stop at every hand it passes through on the way. There are 4. Each one is running a better business than you are. By the end, you'll know why those 28 people out-earned your 92,000 and why the smartest operator on your street is the one who sold his building and stayed on as a tenant. Your edge is real. Start with what you actually own, because it's genuinely good. Your roulette wheel has 37 pockets. When a player hits their number, you pay 35 to 1. That gap is 2.7 cents of every dollar wagered, and it never takes a night off. Put an American 00 on it and you're at 5.26. Your baccarat runs about 1%. Your blackjack, with decent rules, under half. Small numbers. Enormous across millions of bets, but the number you'll actually run the building on isn't the house edge, it's hold. House edge is theoretical, per bet. Hold is what you keep of the money that walked through your door, and those are wildly different because nobody bets their money once. They bet it, win some back, and bet that too. Last year, your tables held about 15%. Your machines about 8. Sit with that. Your edge on a hand of blackjack is around 1%. You keep 15% of what they brought in. The difference is time. Every free drink you pour, every window you didn't install, every clock that isn't on your wall exists to turn a 1% edge into a 15% outcome. And it works. Nevada just closed its 5th straight record year, $15.8 billion, while 7.5% fewer people came to town, so your top line is close to guaranteed. Now let's find out where it goes. Claimant 1. The government. Your first bill arrives before you've paid a single employee. Gaming tax isn't charged on your profit. It's charged on gross gaming revenue. The money you win from players, before payroll, before rent, before anything. You picked well. Nevada takes 6.75%. The friendliest rate on earth. Put the same building in Pennsylvania and you'd hand over more than half your slot win. Put it in Macau and it's 40%. Off the top, every single day. And Macau is where you can see who really owns a casino market. Operators there won about $30.9 billion last year. Their government collected $11.8 billion in gaming tax, 83% of that government's entire tax revenue. Not 83% of gambling taxes, 83% of everything. Look at the seat they're sitting in. No construction cost, no payroll, no hotel to fill, no exposure to a slow quarter or a lucky whale. A fixed percentage of your top line collected first. The biggest whale in your building is the government that licensed it, and it never loses a hand. Claimant 2. The landlord. Now the claim that decides whether you ever actually get rich. Pull the deed to your building. There's a good chance your name isn't on it, and you're in good company, because the names on Caesar's Palace, MGM Grand, and the Venetian aren't on theirs either. Those towers belong to a real estate trust called VICI, 93 properties, 127 million square feet. As of the end of last year, 100% leased, and your lease is triple net, which means you pay the property taxes, you pay the insurance, you pay the maintenance, you pay for the renovations. Your landlord's job is to receive money, roughly 40 years on the term, with rent escalators tied to inflation. Caesars alone writes a check for about $716 million a year. Caesars and MGM together are around 74% of VICI's rent roll. VICI's revenue last year, over $4 billion. VICI's headcount straight out of the 10K, 28 people. There's your answer, 28 against your 92,000. So why would you ever sign that? Because selling your real estate hands you billions in cash today. You kill your debt, you fund the next tower, your balance sheet finally looks modern. But look at what you traded. You sold an asset that appreciates, and you took on an obligation that never falls. When 7.5% of your visitors stopped coming last year, your rent didn't move. Not by $1. You kept the volatility. You sold the certainty. Claimant 3. The machine makers. Walk your slot floor. That's where most of your gaming revenue lives. You'll hear that you lease all of these. You don't. You own something like 85 to 90% of these boxes outright. The problem is the ones you don't. The games your players actually queue up for, the branded titles, the giant linked jackpots, are participation games. You don't buy them. You split the win with the manufacturer. And on the big wide area progressives, you're often paying on coin-in, a percentage of everything wagered, historically as high as 6%, not a percentage of what you keep, a percentage of what's played. Leased games sit near the very top of your slot budget, right behind payroll, so the best performing machines on your floor are the ones you don't own, and your supplier gets paid on volume whether you make money this year or not. You're carrying the risk. They're holding the intellectual property. Claimant 4, the lenders. Back to that opening number, your peer group's profits down 81% in a near-record revenue year. Nevada's own regulator explained it. Revenue slipped a little, costs rose a little, and interest expense ate the corridor. That's your fourth claim, and it's the one that kills. 2 owners went before you, got the math exactly right, and lost the building anyway. In 1990, Donald Trump opened the Taj Mahal in Atlantic City on $675 million of junk bonds at 14%. Servicing that alone cost roughly $94 million a year before a single other bill. He missed the first bond payment within months, bankrupt by 1991. In 2012, the Revel opened on the same boardwalk, $2.4 billion to build. Sold at auction 2 years later for $82.4 million, 3 cents on the dollar. Neither of them failed because the math failed. The same edge you have was working perfectly in both buildings, every single night. They failed because the claims ahead of them didn't move. Your tax is fixed. Your rent is fixed. Your lease fees are fixed. Your interest is fixed. And your edge is fixed too. You can't raise it in a bad year without your players noticing and driving down the street. The only variable you've got is how many people walk through the door. That's the whole fragility of your business in one sentence. The risk you're not pricing. There's a fifth exposure, and it wasn't in the deck anyone showed you. Open your player database and sort it by lifetime loss. In online casino data, roughly 5% of accounts generate around 80% of the losses. Australian loyalty card data found 2% of carded players producing 80% of revenue. Academic estimates of how much casino revenue comes from problem gamblers run from about a fifth to about a half, depending on who's counting. Set the ethics aside for 1 second because you're the owner, and right now this is a balance sheet question. Your guaranteed top line is sitting with a small group of customers who are financially fragile and who are the explicit target of every gambling regulator on the planet, which isn't theoretical. The UK just moved its remote gaming duty from 21% to 40%, one tax rate. Not one rule of one game changed. One of the largest gambling companies on earth announced job cuts to absorb it. Any other industry would put that on page 1 of its risk factors and call it customer concentration. You call it the database. So, do you still want it? Here's the honest version. Your house edge is not a competitive advantage, it's a commodity. Every licensed competitor on your street has the same math, working exactly as hard. There are only 3 real moats in this industry: the license, the land, and the code inside the machines. You rent all 3, which is why the quiet fortunes here belong to whoever moved up the waterfall instead of down it. Governments worked that out a century ago. The property trusts worked it out in 2017. Your suppliers worked it out with a revenue share. Your players are gambling against probability, and probability always wins. You're gambling on something much harder that enough people keep walking through that door every year, forever, to cover a stack of claims that never gets any smaller. The house always wins.